MiniWarGaming's Beat the Cooler Bat Rap!
Hey there, MiniWarGamers. Owen here from MiniWarGaming with Justin to play another game of Warhammer 40k. This is a Beat the Cooler game. Now that Space Marine week is over, but we are playing a Space Marine game, and I am playing other Space Marines. And you'll see in just a moment how much I love these Space Marines, because they're so good, and I can't imagine losing.
Neither can I.
Exactly. So stay tuned, we'll show you the armies, and we'll get this underway. And here we have my Chaos Space Marine army here. Right off the bat, we've got the Warlord, who is a Sorcerer, level 3. He is a Nurgle lore, of course, because Nurgle is the best lore, in my opinion. See, add in my opinion, and all of a sudden you're okay. Then we've got a Daemon Prince. He does not have wings, and he is also a level 3 Psyker, at least I think. We've got 3 Obliterators, we've got 20 Plague Marines in one big blob, we've got 11 Cultists, and then another 11 Cultists of Nurgle, and then 5 Nurgle spawn. And there you go. Here are the Space Marines. And basically we've got a Chapter Master with a Stormbolter and a Lightning Claw, and a Librarian level 2, I believe. And next to him, he's got the 5-man Assault Terminators with Storm Shields and Thunderhammers, and they are with another unit of vanilla Space Marine guys there. They're all in a Land Raider Crusader, though. The Terminators, that is. We've got some more troops. They're outfitted basically the same. Flamethrower, Rocket Launcher, Sergeant with Melt-A-Bombs and a Power Sword in this unit. That one has a Heavy Bolter and a Melt-A-Gun, and they have another Land Raider over there. And that's it. Here's the table that we are playing on, and we have fully deployed at this point. We've got the Cultists hiding out in their corner there, all the Plague Marines with the Sorcerer lined up in the center, a couple Obliterators sitting up on the rooftop. The Daemon Prince is running with all of the spawn. He's not in their unit, but he's running along near them, kind of thing. Here we've got the Space Marines all scattered about, gathered up around their Land Raiders, and some of them are inside the Land Raiders. And then those guys hanging out on the building over there. So as it stands, we're gonna play it off. It is just kill points, see who can kill the other one, and that is that. Initiative steal, and I do. So Chaos got first turn, thanks to stealing the initiative. And first thing we do is I cast the psychic power, the Nurgle psychic power, to reduce random stats, or at least its cumulative random stats, and interesting stuff. Do endurance onto my Obliterators to give them feel no pain and all kinds of fun stuff. The Plague Marines then move through the difficult terrain, all advancing up a little bit, just kind of hanging out around the front of the woods there, and so that's where they ended up. After that, we've got the Beasts who are taken off. These are my Beasts of Nurgle, and I'm going to spoil a little bit, but you're going to see it because we're going to watch the whole video, of course. No one's going to close it at this point. Don't do it. No, don't click the... Anyway, they're amazing. I like them. I like Beasts of Nurgle. In fact, I would take 15 of these guys just because they're hilarious. They're not like, oh man, what are we going to do? But they're hilariously good. They then move through cover, moving up another 2 inches, and that's it. Well, they're running, effectively. And then the Daemon Prince does it too, and my little cultists run, and they all hang out on top of this rooftop. Yellow cultists, they sit in their corner and are happy to be invited. Endurance on himself, bam, giving them all relentless and stuff. Basically, they're good now. They're Space Marines with feel no pain, and yeah, that's where they are. Then he's got his Land Raider, kind of moves up next to them, and that's where it ends up once it turns up. The other Land Raider moves up and then moves around the corner here. These guys then decide they're going to shoot at my Plague Marines, because he thinks that he can kill them. Shoots the Heavy Bolter, and he does reroll once to hit, because he is using the Imperial Fist chapter tactic, so all bolt guns work really good. 2 of my Plague Marines, though, they do die from the bolt gun fire, or the Heavy Bolter and bolt guns. And then he starts firing the guns off of his other vehicles there, or the Land Raider anyway. But I do make my saves against those. Here we go, rolling for 6s with his Hurricane Bolter, which does do another wound, but I do make the save there, because they are 3+5+ at toughness 5, so they're rather annoying to kill, Plague Marines. But I just like them because they're awesome. There's no way to not describe them as just being a awesome looking lore. They're just good. I like them. I like them. That's all I have to say. He shot over at my little beasties, my poor chaos spawn that didn't deserve this, and did a wound, or did a few wounds, put it down to 1 wound, and then tried to shoot him with a las cannon, and that's that. Chaos turn begins. I cast the Nurgle Psychic Power, but he does deny it because he is also a Psyker and was able to stop it on a 4+. Though in hindsight, I think we messed up the rules for how Psykers stop each other because I'm higher level than him, so he should have been on like a 5+ or even a 6+, but whatever. We agreed, we both did it the same way, therefore it made it fair in this game, though it might have been incorrect. The beasties then run out of the terrain there, or at least move out of the terrain because they are beasts. They can move through the cover like that and move 12. Demon Prince lines up against the Land Raider because he's basically the only thing I have that can kill Land Raiders other than my Obliterators. All the Space Marines huddle in for fear inside of the forest there and then decide to take shots with their bolt guns, lots of them being in range, but only getting 1 shot each. They do tons of wounds, and he does make quite a few saves and has Feel No Pain, but unfortunately fails them. Then tries to do some Lookout Sirs to not lose his Sergeant, but he does fail the Lookout Sir and loses them. I decide to shoot some Plasma Cannons at the guys that are trying to cross the bridge. Gets hot, nope, nope, and nope. So they don't get hot, so I get to fire. First one deviates a whole 1 inch. The next one deviates way out of the way, and the last one deviates way out of the way. So I ended up hitting 4 guys. 2 of them took wounds, and they had no save, and they got melted. Demon Prince assaulted. These guys are going to assault the Space Marines here. They fire away, hitting on 6s, re-rolling 1s, and it actually does benefit him by getting him another hit there. And the one there was not quite balanced. He fired his rocket and his Melta as well, snap shooting, and he does do 2 wounds. And I, of course, failed my endurance, which I had put on them to give them Feel No Pain, because why not, right? I mean, I don't see a reason not to. So they all have Feel No Pain, and now they also have poisoned attacks. The Space Marines then pile back in against me, lined up. It's basically Space Marines go first, they attack, they have tons of attacks, but they're wounding on like 6s, because they're tough as nails. How many attacks do they get? 3 + 2 each, so they get a crazy number of attacks, and then they're wounding on 3s, and they're re-rolling to wound, and it just chewed through 1, 2, 3, 4. And there we go, their leadership. 4, but he passes it, I chase him, I catch him. Or he failed it, then I caught him, but then because he's Space Marines, we just stood there. And that's that. Close combat begins, and the Demon Prince is able to hit that Land Raider pretty good, but unfortunately not destroy it. Psychic powers go off once again. He does cast Endurance, as he did before, and then drives up with his Land Raider, moving up towards the woods where all of my poor little guys are hanging out, and disembarks his Terminators, looking straight down at my Plague Marines. The Space Marines who got Plasma Cannon continue to advance across the bridge after their failure to get across it last turn, because they only rolled a 1 in the run. These guys here with the Heavy Bolter move up. He backs up his Land Raider, trying to line up better shots, but I did tear off one of the last cannons, so unfortunately he won't be able to fire both of them at that Demon Prince, but he will have his Heavy Bolter and one of the last cannons anyway, if he chooses to shoot them. He does decide to shoot at my Obliterators with the Land Raider, which gets all hits with its Assault Cannon, and it does do a rending, as well as a few other wounds. And now he starts firing off his Hurricane Bolters, which are in range to shoot 1 shot each, and unfortunately don't do any wounds. So here we go, the cover save makes it, and the armor saves makes it. So I'm fine. Here we go, then he shoots at my Demon Prince and does hit right there, and then fires his Heavy Bolter, getting a few more hits, and a few more wounds. Here we go, failed my Invuln, and failed both of my normal armor saves. So he's down to 1 wound, because he's Chaos. He's assaulting. I'm going to overwatch with all of my bolt guns because we got to do something. And I do actually do a few wounds, but unfortunately he has a 2-up save and is absolutely fine. He then assaults through the difficult terrain, but it does not slow him down as his Terminators come rampaging in. Thankfully, we do have defensive grenades, though, which does mitigate his number of attacks a little bit, which is nice to see. So, you know, basically he doesn't get his full charge bonus against the Plague Marines. He then attacks with his Sergeant, and I fail my Feel No Pain, and one of my fellas die. Whoop, that's him. And these guys moving up trying to attack. My Sorcerer attacks, hits once, and wounds. He's got a 2+, and he passes it. And now everybody else kind of tries to pile in 3 inches, and they basically all get in there, but they have tons of attacks, hitting on 4s, wounding on 4s, but they have poisoned weapons, so they actually re-roll the wound because it's 4s. And so the reroll actually gives them an extra 4 wounds, and he has to make a ton of saves, and he fails 3 2+ saves, thus killing 3 of his Terminators. The surviving Terminators attack back, hitting 3 times, wounding all of those times, but I do have Feel No Pain, and I save one of them anyway, so only 2 more of my guys die, and we actually tie combat. There we go. So here we go, close combat begins between the Space Marines and the monsters. And I fail my Feel No Pain, so I lose one of my beasties, which is a bummer. But how many attacks do they get back? One whole attack. And they do a few wounds. Because he failed 2 out of 3 saves. So 2 more go down, I still win combat. He failed his morale check again, but I catch him again, and then nothing happens. Nothing happens because you can't overrun Space Marines, which is silly. Casting Endurance onto the Daemon Prince, which fails. Trying to do the Nurgle wins on him, but he denies it on a 6, and then that's that for Psychic Power. So my great Demon Prince, who's nearly died from a heavy bolter, is now moved up to try and finish off that tank. The Obliterators fire their las cannons at the other tank and do nothing. Ping, ping, ping. And then the assault phase begins because my whole army is pretty much engaged. Daemon Prince gets 2 hits with his smash attacks. He is strength 10, so he needs Force to glance. And he gets a pen and a glance. And he immobilizes it, and it's down to 1 hull point. But, yeah. Now my BCs have a 4-up armor save, because that's what they do. He attacks, doing 1 wound there, and I fail my save, so I lose yet another wound, and one of my BCs is down to 1. They have 5 attacks each this time, so tons of attacks, tons of likelihood to kill him, wounding on 3s, and he does fail 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is, I believe, enough to wipe out that unit. Bam. So they then overrun another 2 inches, and they're looking at that next unit of Psychers. They're like, you know what? Let's eat them. These Space Marines were delicious. Close combat begins, he challenges, and I accept for some silly reason. Should have refused. But it looked cool. Space Marine Captain against the vile Plague Sorcerer. He attacks, and he gets 2 hits and does a wound. And I make my attacks and do nothing. Neither of us wounded. But we messed up because we didn't realize that his Lightning Claw gave him the reroll to wound, and so we failed to reroll at that turn, which could have made a difference, seeing as I have a pretty poor armor save, or invuln. He has the gift that gave him a 5-up invuln, but that's about it. So he's not exactly the best at fighting. The other Space Marines move up. They all pile up on top of the rooftop there. These guys just kind of mill about after casting Endurance on themselves, and then the Land Raider turns to face down more guys, shutting the door and then letting the Heavy Bolter and other guys move up a bit because they want to start firing at my Obliterators, because if I can roll ones the way he rolled ones, he should kill them like no problem. Here we go, firing away, getting a couple hits, a couple wounds, or at least he's going to try and wound. And twin length shots. Nope. Here we go, the assault cannon. This is the Land Raider, of course. And here we go, 5s to wound. 2 wounds, so here we go, and we're good. Firing 7 bolt gun shots, which are deadly accurate and hit with every shot, and then wound with every shot. And then I fail 2 saves and lose a Obliterator, which sucks for me. Fires his Heavy Bolter from his unit of guys there, getting a few hits and a few wounds. Now firing the rest of the bolters, getting a few more hits and a few more wounds. And now here comes my 2+ saves, and I fail 1. Twin linked guns now firing away at me as well, and he gets a few more hits, and boom, Daemon Prince does not die. Close combat challenge begins. He attacks first and unfortunately fails to wound, and once again forgot to reroll for the shred. And I'm going to use my reroll because I outnumber him by a whole bunch. And then I'm going to reroll this one again because I outnumber him by a whole bunch, doing 2 wounds, and he has a 2+, and he passes them both. If he fails 1, I can kill him because, yeah, I have a force weapon, but he has a 2+ save, and my weapon's only AP 4. Or AP 3, he has a force sword. Anyway, Contagion goes off, he does not deny it, so I reduce his like weapon skill by 1. I don't know, it was pointless. Honestly, I just don't really care for Nurgle spells. But anyway, these guys move over here, taking cover over there, and basically getting in position to fight. Because I'm going to assault them in the back. I was debating here, and I decided I'm going to shoot a plasma cannon at him, and I don't get hot, which is a good thing. And I'm really banking that I don't blow up my own unit here. First one deviates way out of the way, which goes that way, I think, like 3 inches, and misses everybody. It was actually that it was close enough that it might hit the next guy's over. But the next one goes 2 inches forward, which puts it right there, hitting 5 of them, wounding 4 of them, and the guys behind the wall fail their saves, and then other guys die because they aren't behind cover. And he had to do a morale check because he lost a bunch of guys. Assault phase begin. He overwatched with a bunch of shots. Unfortunately, did not do very many wounds because these plague critters are amazing. I don't know. I don't know why they did so good this game. I guess it's against bog standard Space Marines. Maybe against assault, like dedicated Space Marines, they wouldn't do as good, or maybe against other armies, but they can potentially have tons of attacks. They're really tough. They're really strong. They're able to cover the board quick. They're not too expensive in points. I liked them. Here we go. The rest attack. Bunch of hits. Bunch of wounds. Bunch of failed saves. Like 5 of them die, but he survives with the... Oh, then we remembered that he had endurance, so he had feel no pain. Because we started taking these guys off, and we're like, they're all dead now. But then we're like, wait a second, he has feel no pain. So he does pass 2 of those, which saves the unit and keeps the librarian and one of the guys into the fight. But he fails his leadership. We chase and fight, and we continue to fight. Fight, 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 fight. Challenge continues. I have 1 wound left. He is attacking, but fails to wound. I do 1 hit. I'm going to use 2 of my rerolls to reroll the hit. I miss again, but I do a wound, 2+, and he passes, and the combat goes on. Here we go, moving into the Space Marine turn. He moves the Land Raider around because he wants to finish off that Demon Prince once and for all, just to try and get some kill points, because why not? That's what you can do. Even though at this point it is pretty much a Space Marine victory, or a Chaos victory, thanks to the Plague monsters running around eating units of Space Marines. And all those Terminators getting killed. That was really unlucky. Made every one of my saves with my Demon Prince, so he is not dead, and that was amazing. Nope. There we go, firing away now, getting into close combat here between the beasties and his sergeants, or his remaining Space Marines. He has 3 saves to make. He fails 2 of them, and that's the end of the Librarian and his bodyguard, and another bunch of victory points for the Chaos Army. Here we go, the challenge begins. He attacks, getting 3 hits, wounding, and actually doing a bunch of wounds, and I fail my saves, so he finally wins the challenge, and I couldn't do my reroll, so, champion dies. And here we are at the end of the game. It was a Chaos Space Marine victory. Conceding.
Yep.
Well, the downside is you were able to score points. You got 2 points at the very end. But, yeah, it was a pretty crushing defeat.
Yeah, you kept making your armor saves.
Armor saves and team spawn.
Yes, and the spawn.
They just go around rocking Space Marines left, right, and center.
You're just bringing 20 spawn next game, aren't you?
15, but yeah. Yeah. And they'll move in a big pack, all 15 of them together.
Okay.
Be 3d6 worth of attacks per guy. Not really.
We're going to see a tail flipped.
Yeah, yeah. They're not even that good, but I mean, like, if you backed them up with a bunch of Zinj sorcerers and, like, we're just rolling for the endurance, and then just like, endurance on them, now they all feel no pain. And sometimes they have armor saves. But you just hug cover because they're beasts, and that's that. So stay tuned, Vault members. We're going to have a quick post-game, and happy wargaming, everybody else.